So let's take a look at some very interesting reviews on A New Hope. I tried to watch this movie 4 times before I was able to stay awake and see the whole thing. I know why people love this movie. For its time, I know the movie was revolutionary, but I never watched it as a kid, so I missed out on nostalgia. When watching this movie, I can't help but be distracted by the bad effects, bad acting, annoying characters, and boring story. I feel like just playing my whole defense of the Raimi trilogy here. Bad effects, well done, because it was 1977. There are so many actual built sets and practical work in this film. It only uses special effects when it has to. This seems more like a critique of 70s technology or something. It's so dumb. Bad acting, annoying characters, boring story. Okay, maybe elaborate on why? If I could give it negative stars, I would. Letterboxd allows you to go lower than 1 star. You do realise that? I have true hatred for the Star Wars movies, but I understand I'm the problem. Seriously overhyped though. This annoys me to no end. I've addressed this argument of things being called overrated in 3 videos now. It's just so painful to see that people still think this is a logical argument. Movie bad because people out there like it. If you want to make fun of them, go for it. But it's so stupid to negatively rate a movie just because some of the fan bases go a little further than you. 2 separate entities. Separate them. I recently had the pleasure of watching Fury Road and it was incredible. For sure up there with being one of my favourite action movies of all time. So it'll be interesting to see what some haters have to say about it. This movie sucks big dicks. That's bait. It just seems like these people are just driving around and then they yell at each other and then they fight and then they drive some more. I really don't know who these people are or why they are driving. Skip to this timestamp if you haven't seen Fury Road, because it's hard to counter without kind of spoiling. The film very clearly establishes that the convoy is meant to be going to Gastown to, you know, pick up gas. The leader then notices the convoy isn't heading towards Gastown and sends everyone after it, because on top of that there's a woman on board that's pregnant with his child. If I got any details wrong there, then my bad. I've only seen the film once, but definitely plan on rewatching it. And this dude should probably rewatch it as well. And maybe not watch it whilst listening to music on his iPod. Baby Driver is an Edgar Wright film. It's the worst film he's ever made. And by that I mean it's still perfect, it's just the others are somehow even more so. Only one real baby in the whole film, and he's not even driving. Oh my god, he's actually right, isn't he? And this, my friends, is why this is the worst Edgar Wright film. Joe Boatfield is actually quite the smart person, but he's not as smart as Neo. The Matrix is just one of them classic films that everyone should watch at least one time during their life. Each time I rewatch it, the concept becomes more and more fascinating to me, and the action scenes are still just a blast to watch. So let's take a look at some of these reviews. Judging by the fact it's a very highly regarded film, I have a feeling I'll be needing to dodge a lot of comments calling it overrated. Do you mean to tell me that a group of highly intelligent computer scientists have to fight for their lives inside of a computer program? Come on, this movie pokes holes in itself. Hideously overrated! And isn't this film about people who are highly skilled at computers fighting people who are highly skilled at computers? Seems fairly balanced to me. Doesn't make any sense. Everyone is ugly. What? Interesting philosophical concept, but plots falter. Cheesy lines that thinks it's very badass, but very cringeworthy. Keanu's career is a joke. Just ride motorcycles. Not even going to bother with the first bit because it's just so nonsensical. But Keanu Reeves' career is a joke? Yeah, look at him being in some of the best action movies ever made, and just genuinely being the most down-to-earth legend in Hollywood right now. Just ride motorcycles, man. What does that even mean? I'm so confused. But not as confused as Bruce Wayne will be when he meets the Joker. God, these transitions are getting worse. Batman isn't a knight. Where's the sword? You know or hope it's a joke, but it still just makes you lose brain cells. People like this movie? I don't get it. It really sucks. Cringy as hell dialogue, extremely fast pace, plot all over the place. Very boring. I assumed from all the praise for this film it would actually be good, but it turned out to be shit, just like all the rest of the superhero films. You people in your Joker makeup quoting your favourite lines in this film wasted my time. People who like and quote this film need to be sterilised. What is it with these people and just stating things like cringy as hell dialogue and then never actually expanding or showcasing examples for why that's the case? But yeah, it's just like all the other superhero movies out there. Those early 2000s superhero movies where they're all either battles with mutants fighting each other, kicking off the cinematic universe epidemic, or just being goofy as hell comic book movies. Yeah, the standalone, very dark tone, really simple plot with our hero that has no superpowers. Yep, exactly the same, but it has got buildings. Therefore, it's exactly the same as Fight Club. Fight Club is just astonishing, really. It's one of those films that's just so well made, but it also has you coming away from it just rewinding and thinking about what it all meant. Listen to me, don't listen to this person. Watch the re-upload Cinema Sins video for even more confirmation that Fight Club is a bad film. Try me straight white men that have it hard for Brad Pitt. Well, your first problem is that you're looking at Cinema Sins to confirm your critiques, and whenever I've spoken about them in the past, I knew I was just going to get the, "Oh, they're just joking," in the replies. And it's like, yeah, I know there's a lot of jokes in their content, but how is something like this a joke?
The salt balance has to be just right.
The best time for explaining the details of the plan is during execution of said plan while security guards are nearby.
The way it's delivered and the fact that there's no kind of punchline means it's pretty obviously not a joke. And again, I know this doesn't apply to every sin in their video, but some of them are clearly genuine. Hence why people like this believe that a film given a certain number of sins is somehow objectively bad, when in reality a lot of it can be countered, a lot of it is straight up wrong, and by pointing out all of these different sins, you're essentially burying all of the great stuff in these films. I know that's not the kind of style Cinema Sins is going for, but I'm more talking about the effect it has on everyone else who consumes and creates online reviews on sites like Letterboxd. Alright, tangent over, let's lighten up a bit. You wanna know one of my feel-good films? Back to the Future. I love this movie so much. It uses such simplistic creativity with the whole time travel scenario creating dramatic problems for Marty by getting in the way of his parents, forcing them away from each other and therefore disrupting his family tree. It's so good in the way that it's a very entertaining, hilarious film when the main characters are interacting, but also very stylish with all the sci-fi dorky elements. So of course, every review doesn't really have too much to say. Okay, so an old crazy man and Alex P. Keaton drive an ugly car back to the future to change stuff. I seem to recall a really big clock and some chords that don't reach. If I could really go into the past, I would stop this movie from ever being made, so that I wouldn't have been forced to watch it, I would. What is that, Yoda? If I could go back in time, I would destroy this movie so we could have a future free of Tinos garbage? Well, if I could go back in time, I would politely ask these people to move to the middle of nowhere, where there's probably no internet access. Which reminds me, The Shining. I actually went on a college trip to the Stanley Kubrick exhibition in London. It was pretty amazing reading all the information about all of his films, and we got to see some of the props they used for The Shining, like the knife Wendy uses, or the picture shown at the end. It was really neat to see all that stuff in person. And all the stuff I read about how passionate Kubrick was about film just really made me appreciate all of his films even more. But of course, there are some crazy people out there that don't like his movies. Boring movie. Not one bit scary, and this is coming from a person who pretty much never watches scary movies. This movie was a waste of 2.5 hours of my day. Or should I say, my life. Also, here's Johnny. Firstly, it's a psychological horror. Secondly, even if it wasn't, why would it matter that it didn't scare you? Like, one odd way to judge movies. There's plenty of horror movies that I think are great just because they're great movies. Maybe you should judge a film based on the filmmaking? But heck, what do I know? Alright, let's finish on a good one. Naked Grandma Was Hot. A review from Poopy Nut, who basically rates every movie in existence half a star. Well, this guy isn't a troll or anything, is he?